My name's Andy Singleton. I'm an artist and illustrator who works with paper mainly to produce my work. I work by cutting into the paper to weaken it, and then I sculpt it into 3D forms. That's one way that I work, and that's what we explored today in the workshop. And today we just looked at experimental techniques. We were cutting into paper and manipulating it, and I'm here at the Victor Felix Gallery in London. We've been exploring paper craft techniques. We've been exploring quite a wide range of techniques. In the beginning of the day we were looking at cutting into paper to weaken the structure of it, and then we were manipulating it into and making 3D forms with that. After that, Richard, he was showing some pleating techniques and scoring techniques to produce 3D works. And this is basically what we both do for our practice. And we feel like it's quite a good thing to be able to share these techniques that we've developed over time. So we've started running workshops as a regular thing, and we find it quite satisfying to impart these skills and seeing what other people do with them afterwards. You can see, so you can sort of see where the inspiration from cloud formations has come from with this sort of work. So I try and translate those patterns into paper cut stuff and then form 3D objects from it. So when I use a scalpel, I tend to just hold it quite close to the blade like a pencil. When I'm cutting this work, I usually start from the outside. Okay, so then, once you cut out the outside, you just start to work on the inside. So the more you cut out, the weaker the paper gets, and the more flexible it will become. So if you find that you've cut this out quite quickly, don't be, just feel free to start adding more cuts into it if you want. Flex it a bit and just play around. And I just want you to experiment by seeing what you can do. Start to turn it into a 3D form. So like I said before, you've got these small little, have a go, experiment, and you'll notice how flexible the paper is, but also, it's got like a bit of spring to it. And no, I designed it by hand, and then I scanned it into the computer so I could produce it as a template. So I start off by drawing it out, and then I just cut into it. Let me just see how you're cutting it, and I'll. So you kind of moving the paper around, and it's like, it's just keep twisting the page when you need to do it. How is that? Is that working okay? I can't. Not quite. Sometimes it takes a little while just to get used to it. So, is everyone else okay? Yep. One of the more tricky ones. Yeah. Because they're quite intricate and branch-like, aren't they? Yeah. So you could do some really sort of...
the paper, like this sort of thing, but...
Yeah. Like, I think there's... What, it curved round too much?
So, yeah, when I did it a lot, I did this sort of, that size, so that it would kind of just have a bit more width. See any trouble, you know, kind of nice paper, and then you kind of don't want to use it all up, it would get expensive.
Some days.
There's a lot you can do with it, even though it's a simple shape. Just, I've cut myself more with a scalpel.
Not for the BA, but for the BA.
Right,
Well, the MA you have to pay for anyway.
that's what I was thinking, if I ever did want to go and do that.
I can afford it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
no, that's nice. And I can't believe that. I can't stand the isn't it?
Don't know. Tucking things into places. If you're getting a good, you know, to get a good form with it. It does take a while. Yeah, so this process, you know, you can get really interesting results with it. It's basically a continuous line drawing. So you're building up all these shapes through just continually drawing and, you know, crossing over the pattern. And then you've got your pattern to cut out. And, yeah, you can end up with something like this. So you get really intricate with it. And after you've cut it out, you can, you know, start to sculpt it. I'm just going to show you how I do it. So just start anywhere, and I just do some fluid, sort of continuous lines, really. Just get the drawing really crossing over. And that's a little bit floppier, so you can, you know, it's a bit more flexible. But if it's too loose, it'll be, you know, too floppy and it won't be interesting. So once you've got your drawing, you can just start cutting it out. And this time, you're going to be cutting either side of the line. So you're not actually cutting on the line, you're just cutting either side of it. So what you might want to think about is, I find, maybe change the weight of the line. So you've got maybe a line that's thick and it gradually gets thinner and then gets thicker again, and it just adds a bit more movement to the cut. And then you're just going to start working on the inside, and again, just going to cut a few bits just to show you. That's it. Should be way better. Do you want to try a new blade? There's a bit of oil on the blade, so make sure it doesn't get on your paper.
Yeah.
So I've done that before and it's ruined stuff and you can't get rid of it. Oh, have you like taped? You put like a. Yeah, it's quite nice that. You kind of end up with this sort of flowing pattern, and it's a kind of like drawing with a knife, really. Any shape I want. So you just let it build up like that, and then you end up with a pattern that you can cut out and sculpt into a form that you can use and just have a look. And there's things like branches in there and cloud formations and things, so you could try and extract a pattern to do. So you don't really have to draw them on, you're just sort of making some simple little cuts.
That is, it's your own work, isn't it? Yeah.
With these workshops, we're hoping to push them a bit. We're trying to think of new ways to engage people with the process of working with paper. We're talking about maybe producing a collective installation piece that we can install in a gallery, so people could work on use these techniques to produce work throughout the day, and then me and Richard would help them install it into the space or something like that. So we're trying to do something slightly different, and we're trying to push it a little bit. And we don't know where it's going to take us, but we find it we're quite excited about it.